So, man, your last fight was in March for Titan. Just talk the fans through that fight.
Oh yeah, it was a good fight. It's one of those fights where I was able to like keep my pace, kind of keep doing what I wanted to do. It was pretty smooth sailing, you know. Like a lot of times you go into a fight with a game plan, but you kind of expect, any possibility to happen. And rarely is it that your game plan kind of just fluidly goes throughout the whole fight, and it was pretty smooth. I ended up looking back on the fight. There's a little bit of things I'd have done differently. I would have gotten a little bit more aggressive early, and I tried to finish him earlier. I waited till the very end of the third round to finish him, which I think I was a little bit timid because I was dominating Wallell Watson before I ended up getting caught with a hard up kick and then the arm bar. So I wanted to, just make sure and be patient and real careful in this fight, and it went really well.
Up next for you is Brett Johns, an undefeated fighter. What's his skill set? What does he bring to the table?
Honestly, he's good everywhere. He's 11-0 for a reason. He's got I would say his strengths for sure are his timing on his takedowns, his composure in the cage, and his grappling. He's got a pretty decent stand-up, and he just looks to be like a true professional, if you know what I mean. Which I'm learning a lot about the mental side of the game. The last year I've been focusing on that too, and he just seems like a real pro. And a winner knows how to get it done. But I see a lot of holes in his game too, and he's a great matchup for me. I think physically and athletically, I'm going to have a big advantage, and I think I'm going to be able to catch him in the exchanges and in the scrambles.
Okay, Anthony. So a lot of people talk about MMA Math, and the MMA Math here says Whale Watson, you lost to him, and this guy beat him. So why does MMA Math not work in this situation?
Did you watch my fight with Wallell Watson?
No, I didn't.
I beat his ass worse than Brett Johns beat his ass.
Nice.
So, however, there is no comment box in the win and loss column. There's only a win and there's a loss column. So, unfortunately, I have a loss to Wallell Watson. But if you watch the fight, I was just thrashing him a lot worse than Brett Johns was before I made a mistake that I've learned from. So, MMA Math, I definitely play it too, for sure, because I'm a fan of the sport, so I play it when I'm watching it. But, in this game, it's also about matchups, and I've grown a lot in the last 6 months since my Wallell Watson fight, which, I was looking great in that fight and ended up just getting caught. So I've learned a lot as far as getting caught, and with me dominating Wallell Watson and me dominating Austin Lyons and me dominating Charlie Dubray, I just feel like, I was 4-0 going into the Ultimate Fighter, and then I fought to get into the house, and I won, and then I didn't fight again, and then when I got off the Ultimate Fighter, I won in dominating fashion. My fight after that with Wallell Watson, I was very dominant and looked good. My fight against Austin Lyons, I was dominant. So now I'm, 6-1 in the Titan organization. And, I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders, and I'm hitting my prime athletically, and I think it just makes sense, especially for who's in the Titan division right now. I don't think anybody can beat me in Titan at 135.
This is just another Titan FC card, but this is the first card on UFC Fight Pass. Does that bring more exposure?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Titan, I've been with them from the get-go. And, we started out on HDNet. That was good exposure. Then they switched over to Access TV, which was good exposure. From there was the CBS Sports Network, which was cool exposure. Now UFC Fight Pass is kind of that, we're seeing an evolution as far as cable TV networks go to more of companies launching their own internet-based networks, and which I'm a big fan of. So it's pretty cool, in my opinion, to be a part of, I guess I would say history, because, you've got the WWE launching the WWE Network. Have the UFC launching UFC Fight Pass. I think you're going to see sports organizations starting to, launching their own networks, and it's just pretty cool to be a part of the UFC kind of at the very beginning and doing a live show on their network that isn't even a UFC show. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Okay, man, so how was training camp? How's your health heading into this fight?
Oh, it was really good. This fight was supposed to go down June 20th, and then June 26th, and then July 3rd, and now July 18th. So I feel like I've been in a training camp and training for a long time. I had some bumps in the road early. When I was expecting to fight June 26th, I was seeing some pretty good bumps in the road for that date, which my little injuries ended up healing up pretty quick. And then with the fight getting moved to July 18th, allowed me to continue training and getting better. So what's awesome is, it's crazy. I was battling little nicks and bruises, and then leading up to the fight date, I'm like almost 100% injury free, which is pretty rare for a guy who's training twice a day every day.
You've been with Titan pretty much since 2011. You touched on that. Just talk about the changes in the promotion over the years.
Yeah, it's I turned 18 in 2009, and Titan has been throwing shows since 2006. I had 20 amateur fights, and I would say at least 10 of them were on the Titan undercard. So not only am I 6-1 in Titan, but I'm also like 10-0 as an amateur on the Titan cards, which is pretty cool. So I've seen the evolution go from, I didn't have my first fight for Titan until 2009, but I used to watch their shows in 2007. When back it was Gerald Harris, Rob Kimmons, L.T. Davis, Lee Gibson, all these old school veteran names. You got a lot of the Milicic guys were fighting on it. Just the old school names, 2006 era. Some pretty Curtis Stout big names, but watch it go from that to then into 2009, 2010 when they started getting the HD Net deal, as Joe Kelly was their owner. In 2013, I believe, or 2013, Jeff Aronson and Lex McMahon bought Titan, which gave it a whole different feel. There's a lot more money behind Titan once those guys got a hold of it. So there's a lot, instead of having one big fight, now for the whole card are really solid high-level fights. And so the evolution of it has just been continuing to grow pretty much. It's pretty cool to see them. It used to just be a Kansas City-based promotion. I think they did maybe one show in Iowa, but it just used to always be in Kansas City. And now to see them, booking shows in Montreal, Alabama, Austin, Texas, North Carolina, all over the country, it's pretty cool to see it grow.
Yeah, for sure. And this card was supposed to be in Montreal originally, correct?
Yes.
Do you know what happened with that?
Yeah, I do. So remember how I was saying earlier, you're going to get some behind-the-scenes little info here. Here you go.
Okay.
So you know how the dates were all screwy, like June 20th, June 26th, July 3rd?
Yeah.
They had Montreal booked for a July 3rd date. And then when they realized that the UFC Fight Pass deal was going to take longer to get done, they weren't going to be able to throw a fight on July 3rd on Fight Pass. They moved to the 18th, which then messed up the venue for the 18th. And then with Tim Elliott being recently signed by Titan, which he was just released from the UFC, he's from Kansas City, and he's also a big draw. It made sense for the promotion to just say, let's just do Kansas City, because Tim Elliott will be on the card, I'll be on the card, so we can actually get some good sales at the gate, and just do it there instead, since the Montreal date didn't work out with that venue.
Okay, that makes sense. So you have a lot of finishes in your career. Just talk about your fight style.
My fighting style, here's how I explain it to people. I'm a C-level fighter in every aspect of the game. And I am an A-level at being able to blend all the aspects of the game, which makes me a solid pro, in my opinion. I think with a lot of my experience being in the cage, 20 amateur fights, 6-1 as a pro, but really I'm 7-1 as a pro because of my fight on Tough that I won. So I just had a lot of time in the cage, and at a young age, me being 24, my body feels good still. So I'm able to have a lot of experience and composure in the game, at a younger age, and I think, as far as me finishing fights, I think it's just a matter of, waiting and being patient for an opportunity and then taking it,
With a win, where will that put you in the division?
Well, it'll make me the champion of the division in Titan. But really, my main thing, which I am actually excited, the Titan belt is pretty awesome. It's a cool piece of jewelry, and I do like accessories. So, I am
Nice.
excited about this piece of jewelry. But Really, I'm just excited to, I've been busting my ass for so long, and I'm kind of getting to not the bitter end, but like I'm getting to the point now where it's like, look, you've been doing this for so long and you're working so hard. It's time to fight the best guys that you can fight. You know what I mean? I'm not interested in training twice a day, all day, getting banged up, pushing myself to the limit just to fight, lower level competition. So I'm wanting to fight the highest level of guys. And if you look at Brett Johns' resume, he has a pretty insane resume, and he represents it well with, just him and his team and how they're marketing himself. So Brett Johns, in my opinion, is probably top, 3 or 5 unsigned prospects outside of the UFC right now. Being Cage Warriors champion at 135 when Conor McGregor was Cage Warriors champion at 145 and 55. I think it would make sense for the UFC to want another guy from Europe that's 11-0 and that they can get behind when they want to expand to those markets. My point being is Brett Johns is a hot commodity in the MMA community right now, and that's exactly why I want to fight him. And because I want to ruin his day pretty much. I want to take everything he has, because if I beat him, then in my opinion, I'm the Cage Warriors champion, and in my opinion, I can be 11-0 too.
Okay, man. One last question here. Give us a prediction on the fight. How does it finish?
I'm going to knock him out in the 3rd round, and I'm going to hurt him bad in the 1st.
Any sponsors you'd like to thank or promote your social media?
I'm SharkBait816 on Instagram and Twitter, and that's it, man. Just like to give a shout out to Glory MMA and Fitness. That's where I train and that's where I work, so this is my home.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for giving me the time, man.
Thanks for calling, bro. See you later.
Okay, see ya.